Hey,
You know what's
folks.
been bothering me, gentlemen? I'll tell you. Hey, you're right. We can't lose any of this gold. Okay, do you remember
Are you wearing glasses without?
frames or
Well, no, they have frames.
lenses?
Legs? What are they called? The arms? What?
Gams.
One of them is missing at least.
Yeah, it broke. It broke.
Okay.
Thank you
I
for
was
pointing
It's
that
like
out.
I didn't know
Morpheus.
if both of them were broken, and you were just like balancing them on your. I was impressed. I was honestly impressed.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the matter at hand, David.
Yeah.
The baggage claim at McCarran or Harry Reid Airport, whatever you name it,
Uh-huh.
used to play this really fun Italian song. The
Yeah.
They don't
How could
play
we
it
forget?
fucking anymore. Now
Really?
the baggage claim is all somber and it's playing, EDM. Sorry, it's
That sucks.
been grinding my gears.
What do? Why were you at the baggage claim? Where were you?
So I have this thing going where you ever see a movie where it's like you find a guitar case and it's full of money?
Yeah.
I've been trying to stumble upon that. See any sort of instrument case, a violin case, tuba case, what have you, is full of money. And so far, all I've gotten is instruments. And look, if any of you guys want some, a horn or a bassoon,
You
let
got
me
a
know.
trombone in there? You got any trombone?
I got plenty of trombone for you, my friend.
Hey.
Hey.
Nice. Well, that's fun. That's a fun thing. Just go to McCarran, park your car, pay $18 for parking, and then just
And then
hope-
not sell the instruments. So this is all working at a deficit for me. But
just go to a Guitar Center one day and make bank. Do they
the
take
cops
used
are just
instruments?
waiting for me. They know it's like, oh, it's the horn bandit.
It's the horn bandit.
Shit.
Shit. How about you, Chowan? How you doing?
I'm good. Yeah. It's kind of an overcast day today. Chilling. First day of baseball season yesterday, so that's cool.
Oh,
Opening
nice.
day,
Take
baby.
me out to the ball game.
I don't really care for baseball, but enjoy.
That's understandable.
I think it mostly stems from working.
Is it because someone's tried to hit your head because
No.
they thought it was a large baseball?
No, it's just so boring. Well, it's not
Oh.
that big. Yeah, it's pretty big. No, it's just so boring.
It's bigger than a
especially
baseball.
working because I was in college at Baylor. I was on the video sports production team,
Oh yeah.
and we did the football games, basketball games, volleyball, everything, including baseball. And baseball is just one of those games where, like, if you're a camera operator or whatever it is, the rain, shine, like you're out there and whatever it is.
Oh,
And it baseball game can last anywhere from 3 hours to 13 hours. It just could never end. It was the worst. At least basketball games and football games are like, all right, it's 3 hours, maybe 3.5 for like breakdown and whatever it is, and then we get out of here. Nope.
You really got to change your perspective on it. Instead of calling it, a game, it's more of the American pastime.
Yeah.
It is really it's a miracle if anything happens. So like
Fair.
I don't know, there's something kind of cool about baseball.
There's a nice promise there where the only thing they promise is that time will pass. And
Yeah.
Yes.
stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the seventh inning stretch, just things to pass the time. It was nice when I was living by the Angels Stadium down in Anaheim. I was literally like a 5-minute walk from it. I could just get like $10 tickets and go and like just grab a hot dog and some whatever. I get it. But it's just not my favorite. Just not what I'm
Understandable.
saying. Yeah. But cool. All right. Well, looks like we're all doing pretty well. It's my
How are
week
you
this
doing?
week. I'm
How are
good.
you doing,
I'm
David?
all right.
How was
Figuring
the
things out.
surgery vid?
It was good.
Yeah?
The surgery shoot was good. I got some good footage.
You didn't get squeamish? You didn't pass out?
No, I've never been really that squeamish about that stuff, especially because he's a foot and ankle surgeon. So they tourniquet the leg. So there's not like a lot of blood, because like they stop the blood flow. So it wasn't that bad. Like you see like the tendons and the muscles and whatever it is. It is kind of like, it was kind of macabre. He's just like there and he's just like, he was doing a toe fusion, which is when he, like in the big toe, for example, you fuse like the top two knuckles together because like the cartilage is all gone or whatever. You just fuse them together. And to do that, he has to like cut the toe at the knuckle and then like take out all the like residual, like whatever's left of the cartilage and whatever. And like, he's just like scraping it and you hear the scraping of the bone. You're just like, that's not great. Like that. And like the toe afterwards, he's like, the toe's just hanging there until he like drills the rod in or whatever. So you just like the toe. I was like, it's not the worst. It's not the best.
Did he ask you to tickle the toe, David?
Yeah, tickled
Yeah.
the toe. Was hanging
Did
there.
you get to
Come here,
suck
kid.
on any
Tickled the
toes?
toe.
while you
All
were there?
right, all right. Yeah, no, it's yeah,
Sneak a couple feet pics.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Got some good stuff
60
for the
frames per second,
website.
baby.
But yeah, no, it was good. Got some good shots. He like did some cauterization and part of the ankle ligament he was fixing. So there's some good slow mo shots of the. You just let it happen. Saw
I caught it.
it. Of the like smoke coming up and stuff. So yeah, it was good. It's good. It's good.
Lovely.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So things are going well. So
Is that going to be publicly available, or is that just for someone's surgery reel?
No, he's gonna make like TikToks and Instagrams and put some videos on his website and stuff like that.
Cool.
It's like a highlight reel.
Kind
Like
of
football.
That's the thing now. Like even doctors are having to like get into social media and be like, look at how awesome I am with the social media. Like come to me and you
Yeah,
want me
yeah.
as your, you know what I mean? Like
Here's me
it's
slam
interesting.
dunking a tumor right into the trash.
right, literally, yeah.
Yeah.
Literally. All right, so we kind of got started a little early here, talking about what we're going to be talking about. Let's see, where's the theme song? We got too many.
Sucking on toes?
Yeah, exactly. It's my turn this week. It's my week. It's my thing. I had something planned before Month, but it didn't arrive in time, so I did the other episode, and then I was going to do that this episode, but Eric's was food themed, so I didn't want to step on his bread. So I have my backup episode, and this is an episode I could have talked about episode 1. I could have talked about episode 5. I could talk about now. We could talk about it 12 episodes from now. It's something that we're always going to be able to talk about. We already kind of talked about it a little bit before we even started. So, gentlemen, it's time to talk about the Ye-lephant in the room.
Oh, God.
Everything, everything, everything is everything.
Everything
Everything.
is everything
Everything.
is everything
Everything
is
is everything.
everything
Everything.
is everything
Everything.
is everything
Everything is everything.
everything
Everything.
is everything
Everything.
everything
Everything is everything.
everything
Everything is everything is everything.
everything is
Everything is everything is everything.
everything is
Everything is everything is everything.
everything is
Everything is everything is
Is everything. Is everything. Is everything. Is everything.
So we're doing Shark Week this episode, right, David?
Oh yeah, baby. Shark Week is actually usually during my birthday month. Sometimes it's during my birthday, which is nice because sharks are my favorite.
That's like June, right?
But no,
Do-
we're doing elephants. Elephants. Yeah, no, this episode's about elephants, not about Kanye West.
Do you mind if I interrupt real quick?
Please.
I bought some smelling salts, so I'm gonna salt up real quick,
Oh,
just so I'm
yeah,
like
do it.
ready to go for this.
Let's see it. You need it.
You
Everyone
really
take your-
do.
take
I'm
your
trying to be
salt,
sharp
take
on this one.
Yeah.
This was brought up in our group text yesterday, and I confused smelling salts and bath salts for a couple hours. I was like, wait, these guys are doing bath salts?
John was just a zombie around the office.
He brought
me your
bath salts
brains,
to the
ah!
office?
Nah, closer to your
Like-
nose.
Get a good whiff. Oh, yeah. That's the
Nice.
stuff.
There it is.
Wow. And then I'm gonna
Not-
chase it. Actually, I saw this on Instagram. Have you seen these little tie things?
What are you just inhaling all sorts of things over there? Jesus Christ.
What kind of
what is
side business are you hawking over there,
Hold on.
Chowan?
Okay.
this? Went from
That's
ring
what it
guy
is.
to inhaling guy, air guy.
It's become an inhalant, man.
All right, I'm ready.
So
We
what
can
was
go.
that? What was that tie thing?
Yeah, what's
Chowan?
that say?
What
It's
was that?
yeah. So I saw it on like Instagram. It's just like a herbal inhalant. It smells like Vicks.
I was gonna
nice.
say you got some Vicks next. Like
Yeah, yeah. It
Rub it
smells
on you.
just like Vicks.
Is that a chicken on the logo?
Yeah, yeah. It comes in this box.
Oh, it's chicken powder. Could have just said chicken powder, Chowan.
It's really. I,
gotta
don't
say,
know.
speaking
it's,
of elephant
nice.
in the room, Chowan totally blew up the room and started spreading his inhalants
It's
around.
goddamn inhalants.
All right,
Jesus
so
Christ.
I guess I am confused, David. Are we talking Kanye? Are we talking elephants?
We are in fact talking Kanye. So
Goodness
let's,
gracious me!
let's see here. We got this nice time path timeline. I
Okay.
did not make this. I think it was made in Italy. I don't know. Is this Italian? Juni looks Italian to me.
January. That makes sense
So
to me.
yeah. Anyway, we're gonna kind of go through the timeline of Kanye West, and I don't know, maybe see what happened, see where it all went
Where it
right,
all went wrong.
where it all went wrong, where things, things happened. And we'll just give our input here and there, and if anyone has any extra tidbits to add or opinions or whatnot, then feel free.
Before we scare away any potential listeners, I think I'd like to say up front, just going to be that guy. We do not endorse anything that Kanye West has said. Ever. Let's start there. But especially anything in the past 4-ish years. We don't believe that Nazism is correct. We believe it's wrong. In fact, that's a hard stance I'd like to make on the podcast.
Thank you,
everything
Eric.
is
I'm glad
everything.
you had
The
to
hosts at
clarify.
Everything is Everything are anti-Nazism, and that's going to be a disagreement that we just have on principle with the subject of today's podcast. Sorry, David. Go ahead.
Yeah, Nazis are bad. So we start with
I thought a butt was coming. Sure, they're bad, but
the birth of Kanye West. All right. Kanye Omari West was born June 8th, 1977. It seems like a long time ago. Was that
it's over 40 years.
Yeah, almost. Yeah. Almost 50 years.
Damn.
Almost 50. Late son of Donda Williams and Ray West. He was born in Georgia. I don't know if a lot of people know that. He was born in Georgia because he doesn't really talk about Georgia a lot. He talks about Chicago, talks about Hawaii here and there. Doesn't really talk about Georgia that much.
You guys have any friends that were born in like a random state and then immediately moved to where you associate them with? Because I could think of a couple people like that.
I had an ex who was born in Dearborn, Michigan, and then lived her whole life in Houston, Texas. I don't know.
Huh.
I think they moved it when she was like a baby or something.
I knew someone from California. Pretty crazy.
Pretty crazy. Eric, who do you know?
Huh? Oh, shit, man, I don't know.
All right. Thanks for bringing up the topic. So Kanye's parents get divorced in 1980.
I don't know. It happens. It could be an interesting occurrence.
They got divorced in 1980, and that's when Kanye and his mother moved to Chicago when he was only 3 years old. When he was around 13, his mother paid for a recording of his first song in a basement studio, and obviously, his first recording wasn't that great. And then he graduated from high school. He received a scholarship to attend the American Academy of Art, and while he was there, he did painting. And then he transferred to Chicago State University and majored in English. And then in 1996, he
Hold
appeared
on. Didn't he drop out though? Just to be
I was
sure.
going to say, when does it mention when he drops out?
Yeah,
That's kind of
there's a
big
whole
part of the
album
story.
about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it mentions when he drops out. That might be
Somewhere between
We'll get to
94
that.
and 96.
Yeah. Let's see. Freestyle, and then in '98 he gets a taste in the industry, sells his first beat.
$8,000 is pretty
Yeah.
crazy in 1998.
Yeah, and then he sold the beat to Jermaine Dupri for $5,000.
Wow.
Then
Well, and it should be said. Sorry, David.
no, please, at all interrupt me during all this because I'm just kind of going through the timeline and adding up.
Because he's a guy of many. He likes mythologizing himself. Like, I feel like just listening to not even knowing any background stuff, listening to the album, the first album, up to a certain album, you get a good point of the story, especially College Dropout. He basically says, like, hey, I made one beat a day for 3 years, and I worked very hard at this. And then, Last Call, it is essentially not even, it's not a song. It's just going in detail. I did this, then I did this, then my mom told me to do this, and then I met Jay-Z, yada yada. Anyway, so I don't know. It's interesting that you get a lot of his story from him just through the music, not from interviews or anything.
Right. And it says here, actually, it looks like we were wrong there. Kanye West dropped out to do music full time in 1998.
Oh, he was
So
close
he
to his degree.
96. He was there for two-ish years. um, obviously, in 2000, he begins producing for Rockefeller. Jay-Z, that whole thing starts taking off. He produces 5 tracks for The Blueprint. He becomes like Jay-Z's main producer, and he's like, I want to do
That's
my stuff
huge.
too. Yeah, absolutely huge. He's like, I want to do my stuff too, but it's not panning out yet. 2002, October 1st, Kanye West, I don't know why he says meets, but gets in a car accident. Meets in car accident.
You're right. This may be Italian.
Yeah, Kanye West met in a car accident. But anyway, we all know the famous car accident where, Kanye there's actually some controversy about this car accident. I don't know if you know.
What,
About
like Kanye was in the wrong? I've never
not
even thought about
no
it.
that it might not have been a car accident. That the car accident was a cover up because there was apparently
Oh.
some rapper beef or some beef or whatever that he was involved in, and apparently one of the theories is that these people who he was beefing with had dudes who came and beat him up so bad that they busted his jaw and whatever it is. And because of his image and all that, Rockefeller basically tried to cover it up for him and said, "Oh no, he got in a car accident."
Wow.
Again, that's just a theory. Obviously, there's pictures of the car accident and whatever it is. So, who knows? I mean, it's not that hard to fuck up a car
A
and
car
stage
with
it.
fists.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so there's some controversy about that. But and then Kanye returns to the studio while his jaw's wired shut and raps through the wire, and yeah, that becomes a hit. And then we get to the College Dropout, 2004. Album sold 441,000 units in the first week. Debuted number 1. So many good hits and songs on there. Jesus Walks, All Falls Down, just insane amounts of
I remember
production.
listening to the College Dropout in college and
Mhm.
being like, yo, I should drop out.
Really?
Yeah.
For sure. He makes a good, like, I don't know, a good case for dropping out of college.
Yeah.
I
All right.
just,
So we come to our first question then. What is your guys' favorite song on the College Dropout?
I have to look at the album.
Yeah, I do too. I have it on my.
I think mine is probably either Spaceship or
That's a good one. That was the single, right?
Yeah.
I think it was one
that
of them.
album.
Yeah.
I mean, that song.
Spaceship or Jesus Walks, just because Jesus Walks is also like so iconic.
Hold on. What's it called? Oh, I'm a sucker for when Kanye goes for sentimentality, and Family Business is a classic.
I love that one. Yeah,
It's a really good
absolutely.
beat. It's I I think that's what got me to stick around at first, just because I don't know. I'm a sentimental man at heart, and any of the weepies, he's good at it. They catch you, and so yeah, Family Business.
That's a
Good
great
one.
song.
It's
Yeah.
a great song. Fantastic.
I think I like Slow Jams.
Another
Or-
great song.
Yeah. I think that
Jamie
was.
Foxx in there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where he's like cruising around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Little need. And then Twista comes in and he's rapping 400 words a minute.
Yeah. So yeah, we get the College Dropout, and Kanye West is essentially born. The rapper, the artist. People have heard about him before, producing beats and making beats for Jay-Z and whatever it is. But this is basically the birth of Kanye as a musical artist.
Can I hop in for one more second?
Please.
I think it's interesting that, the big rise of Jay-Z, the internet was a thing, but I feel like between 2000 and 2005 especially, every single person our age and younger and older, I guess, had a home computer with good speed internet at that point. Like
Decent, yeah.
by the time Kanye was starting to become popular, the internet was becoming more and more endemic to youth culture and, of all races and creeds. It's just people were on the internet more and they were talking about it more. So I think, I don't know, compared to back in like 92 or whatever, when it's really just geeks on the internet, now 10 years plus, it's everyone's talking on the internet. And I don't know. I wonder if that helped Kanye. I imagine because Kanye was also tapped in. He got on the internet pretty early.
Yeah.
He had like MySpace and stuff. So he was friends with Tom.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
was just thinking that.
All right, so then we go about a year later, 2005, and we get to one of Kanye's earliest controversial moments. Yeah, most infamous moments.
I'm shocked it happened this early. I thought it happened at least 2 albums after.
I know, right? So let's take a look here, just in case anyone forgets.
We're going into all of them.
There's now over 25 feet of water where there was once city streets and thriving neighborhoods.
I hate the way they portray us in the media. If you see a black family, it says they're looting. See a white family, it says they're looking for food. And you know, it's been 5 days because most of the people are black. And even for me to complain about, I would be a hypocrite because I've tried to turn away from the TV because it's too hard to watch. I've even been shopping before even giving a donation. So now I'm calling my business manager right now to see what is the biggest amount I can give. And just to imagine if I was down there, and those are my people down there. So anybody out there that wants to do anything that we can help with the setup, the way America is set up to help the poor, the black people, the less well off as slow as possible. I mean, Red Cross is doing everything they can. We already realize a lot of the people that could help are at war right now, fighting another way, and they've given them permission to go down and shoot us.
And subtle, but in even many ways more profoundly devastating, is the lasting damage to the survivors' will to rebuild and remain in the area. The destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Please call.
All right, so
if Mike Myers looking at him real quick, like
I know. So if we can just analyze this for a second, and let's just take a look, because at the beginning
I've
of
never
this,
seen the full video.
Yeah, a lot of people
the last 5 seconds.
Exactly, a lot of people just take the last 5 seconds, right? And they just are like, "Damn, look at this moment Kanye said," and that's kind of a theme throughout his career and his life, and you'll see that later, and I'm sure you've seen it before. Is that people will always just take the most controversial little soundbite and run with it. And what he said was controversial for sure. It didn't even need the previous context like that. He said it just on its own. But if you watch the whole video, like we kind of just did, what I see is kind of a scared, nervous Kanye. And like, he's obviously gone off script. Mike Myers is just standing there, like looking at him half the time, like, oh shit, what is he about to say? Because he doesn't know what the fuck he's about to say. And he agrees. He nods in agreement with him a couple times when he's like, the Red Cross is doing all that they can, and this and that, whatever it is. But for the most part, he's kind of just staring at him like, oh shit, what the fuck? What are you doing? And then he goes back to the script, Mike Myers, and then Kanye goes and says, George Bush doesn't care about black people.
It's an interesting clip to analyze. It's something I'd like to go back to because you're totally right. And I think I like that you're looking at this from a behind the camera perspective too, because yeah, you're right. Ye seems very, very nervous. And obviously he starts on script, wanders off script, and it's along with being nervous, it seems like this is obviously something that really bothered him, you know. It doesn't seem disingenuous at all, I would say.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, it seems like he actually really cares and really is really upset about it.
Here's my armchair psychiatrist. I think the copy that he had to read was too effective. It got him in his feels. And at a certain point, you know, it also could be, just to give Ye the benefit of the doubt, it could be that the producer said, hey, if you have, you know, like a 5 to 10 second anecdote of something you want to say, why this affects you, go ahead. But because, yeah, at a certain point, you could tell Ye kind of gathers himself and goes back to the, you know, the final words of his line, and then Mike Myers. but yeah, at a certain point, yeah, he gets caught up, and he's like, "No, I'm just gonna say how I'm really feeling." And yeah, and you know what? That's Kanye in the pop culture at large was born with that. You know, um, I just keep thinking about Franklin from Arrested Development, having a George Bush doesn't care about black puppets sweatshirt.
Yeah,
But Franklin's never far from my thoughts. Sorry, go ahead.
there you go. Chowin, you got anything to add about it?
I guess he's got like little kid energy, explaining like something that his parents were mad about, and then he's bringing it back to school. I don't know. He's got a weird energy to it. I kind of agree with both what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
I think he did get a little caught up in his feels, and I don't know. It's Kanye.
Keep in mind also this TV telethon marathon that he was doing was just a few days after he released Late Registration.
Okay.
He releases his second album.
That on the timeline.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not on there like as a highlight, but he releases his second album, right? And then, goes and does all this. And his second album is a lot more heartfelt. You listen to a lot of the songs, Roses, about his grandmother dying in the hospital and stuff like that. Diamonds from Sierra Leone, about, black people have been
I was
suffering.
going to say it's also more political. I think he finally, that was kind of his image back in the day. Jesus Walks was the first, and then I think with Diamonds from Sierra Leone and Gold Digger, not really political, but that's like he was rebranding himself into like, I'm not Jay-Z, I'm not going to rap about selling drugs, I'm this is who I am. And I don't know, I was too young. I don't have any memories of what people were saying about Kanye at this time.
No, same, honestly. And to be fair, I wasn't, I was 11 years old at this time, or 12 years old. I wasn't really into Kanye yet. Me getting into Kanye came with his next album, Graduation, but we'll get to that in a minute. First of all, let's get to our second question, or second of all, let's get to our second question. What's your guys' favorite song off of Late Registration?
Back to the track list. Let's see here.
Mine is probably Gone. I love Gone.
Oh, a classic. When he comes in and the beat gets all like angry at the end.
Yeah. Touch the Sky and Heard Him Say. Those are probably my top three. But there's so many good songs on this album. Like, I think they're all amazing.
I liked Late. Last song.
That's a great one. That's shout out. I think, not to get too in the weeds here, but as someone who likes playlists and sequencing, the back end of College Dropout is a little bloated, and I always kind of lose interest. And Late Registration packs in like 4 or 5 really good songs at the very, very end. So it's always like, I can't remember the track list off the top of my head, but like, even if I'm 2/3 of the way through, I'm like, I got to burn through. Those last 5 songs are good.
He also has the song for his mom on there, Hey Mama.
That was mine. Hey Mama is mine. It's hard not to get emotional listening to that song, any version of that song.
Especially, now.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Chowin, what about you?
Late. I like Late.
Oh, you said Late? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, because I was usually listening to Late because I was late for class.
You seem to have just been listening to things that pertain to your life directly. You call it Dropout. Should I drop out? I'm late. Let me listen to Late.
I go very literal when I'm listening.
I'm driving slow. Let me put on the drive slow.
When he puts on Dark Twisted Fantasy, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It becomes like a painting of a demon.
In his bedroom with wings on.
Yeah.
The naked lady.
All right, so then we fast forward a couple years from 2005 to 2007, and we get the release of Graduation. This release was a little fun because it was, he had that bet with 50 Cent saying that, hey, we'll release on the same day, and whoever loses least sales or whatever has to quit forever. And Kanye destroyed 50 Cent. I think it sold almost 1 million copies in the first week. And then 50 Cent.
It was one of those weird, it was like a cultural and commercial victory to the point where 50 Cent's like, I guess I'm done being popular forever. and
Yeah.
kind of just
And Graduation is where I started getting into Kanye. It's not where I like fully got into Kanye, but I started vibing to a lot of his music. I went back and listened to his older music, and I was like, oh, this is good because Stronger was really popular. That was probably like his first huge commercial success, as you said.
yeah.
Was probably Graduate. It was probably Stronger, and then all the other songs on there are just pretty fantastic.
Did you? I have a question for the panel. Did any of you guys have those shades that looked like window shutters that
Oh,
Kanye
yeah.
had in one of the videos?
The
It has the,
iconic Kanye sunglasses. Yeah,
looking like this.
and so I remember he went on tour. His was it called the Glow in the Dark tour or the
Mhm.
yeah? And I remember seeing the billboard. I still remember this. I was in the car, and I was like, "Mom, can I want to go to the concert." I've never been to a concert before. And she said, "No, you're not going to that. What is that? Rap music, hip hop? No, you're not going." Blah blah blah. I think what was it? 2007. I was 14 at the time. I was freshman in high school, and she said no, didn't get to go. And my first concert, just to throw this in there, ended up being Kid Cudi, senior year of high school. So
Nice.
So you won out in the end.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, Graduation. That's like my first visceral memories of like knowing Kanye and like wanting to go to his concert and stuff like that. And
If you put shutter shades under your pillow before you go to sleep, Kanye will visit you.
yeah,
Yeah.
does he leave $1?
He'll put a grill on one of your teeth under the pillow.
I'll burn a cross.
All right, then we push forward another year. And
Wait, you weren't going to ask us what our favorite Graduation song is?
Oh,
Yeah,
shit,
I was waiting.
Sorry, what are your
You
favorite?
just pulled up Graduation, you motherfucker.
My
Yeah,
bad.
exactly.
What are your graduation favorite graduation songs? Well, I'm glad you guys are paying attention. That's part of it.
Graduation was an album that I played over and over. Like it was
Same.
It might as well have been stuck in my truck CD player for a summer. It was just the only thing I listened to. So
Mm-hmm.
the
That
one
was the album that got me into Kanye.
it's a just great front to back album. Even if it's not my favorite, it's maybe best or second. Everything I Am is a perfect song.
Oh, I love that song.
It's
Same
introspective
with me.
Kanye. It's
Yep.
not like a weeper. It's just, if the sun's going down after a day of, busting your ass. Everything I Am is a good, like, cool down.
I love Everything I Am and Flashing Lights. Flashing Lights is probably my number. I love Flashing Lights.
Flashing.
Lights. Yeah. So iconic. All right. So then next year we push to 808s and Heartbreaks. This album is where I really got into Kanye. And obviously, 14, 15 years old at this point, start going through heartbreaks.
Coursing with feels.
Yeah,
Coursing.
start going through your feels, start going through everything. And it was such a different album. Like, this isn't a rap album. This isn't a hip hop album. And it was just so sonically different than almost anything that was out at the time. And this music was so good that my dad, who is, what was it, 2008, he moved to America in 1985. Wow. So he was 48 at this point. Okay. 48-year-old man who just like got into fitness a couple years ago or whatever it is. Every single morning, and I know this because the gym in our house is right the wall
by your bedroom.
Yeah. Every single morning, blasting 808s and Heartbreak while he's running on the treadmill and doing his workout for at least 8 months, maybe a year. Every single
Dad running
morning.
on the treadmill, just tears running down his face. listening to Pinocchio's story.
Yeah.
Why won't they treat you normal?
What are you running from?
And honestly, it was amazing and beautiful to wake, because he was working out at like 7, 8 in the morning.
That's
to
nice.
Wake up to like Kanye playing, to 808s playing. Fantastic. Wasn't mad about it at all.
That's a crucial detail in the David origin story.
Yeah,
that is,
honestly.
if you made a David movie, that has to be a scene.
Mm-hmm.
just waking up to Love Lockdown, like, dun, dun, oh god, it was fantastic. But again, like, and this album was just very heartfelt, very real, raw, emotional, and very well produced. Very, very well produced.
I am with you where I don't think I was really listening to rap yet by 2008, or was it 2008 it says?
Yeah.
And then I heard some of this album, probably a single or two, and I was like, that's from the rapper Kanye? Wow, this is interesting. And I don't think I picked really up on him for another year or two. But yes, I remember this coming out and it being like, huh, that's cool. And yeah, you know, this is your episode, so I don't want to take over with the armchair evaluation of Kanye, but I would say this is where things start getting shaky mentally, emotionally for him, because
Yes, agreed.
with
And
with Go
sorry
ahead.
to interrupt real quick. I was just gonna say I don't know why they omitted this part because this is a huge fucking part of Kanye's life. But his mother died in 2007, right
his mom,
before.
to live closer to him, was an English professor in Chicago,
Yeah.
moves to LA because one, now Kanye is making a shit ton of money and she doesn't have to work anymore. She doesn't have to try and get pension. And two is just like, you know, she has friends out there and she could live. And because of the body image stuff that went down in especially the early 2000s, it's worse. It was way worse then than it is now. She gets the thought to look slimmer by getting her breasts augmented. And the surgery, something was fucked up in the surgery and she died mid-surgery.
Caused her to
And
have a heart attack.
it happened suddenly, and obviously it, you know, as someone who is caring for an ailing mother right now, and you know all the emotions that it brings up, and I don't know how old Kanye was, but I imagine he was in his 30s, probably late 30s when this happened. Yeah, I can't imagine how all this would happen as a blindside. I think that would be totally crazy. And Kanye is an admitted mother's boy. I think that's, you know,
31.
that's one of those things that just comes up in the subtext. But
Or yeah, she died when he was 30. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he released 808 when he was 31. And
so
on top of that, he broke up with his then fiance,
Amber Rose.
No, it was the
Oh.
girl before Amber. I don't think he was ever engaged to Amber Rose.
Oh, okay.
It was,
But that other girl
what
was
her
like a
name?
long time
Alex
girl.
Something, I think.
So he's going through some shit, is what I'm saying.
Kanye
He's
fiance 2007. Alexis Pfeiffer. There it is.
okay.
Alexis Pfeiffer. So yeah, they broke up. They broke off their engagement, and then I think he got involved with Amber Rose. So yeah, so love 808s and Heartbreak. That's when I really got into Kanye. That's when I'm like, all right, this is probably the greatest musical artist I've ever heard. And that's when I started going back into all his music, learned all his his story, learned everything about him. And so yeah, that was my entry into Kanye. What was your guys' favorite song from 808s?
RoboCop. You're moving like the RoboCop. There's a lot of sad look, there's not a bad song on the album, but
Yep.
I tend to just listen to happier songs in general. So RoboCop, the one with Mr. Hudson, I forget what it's called.
Paranoid.
Yeah, Paranoid. Anyway,
Funny story about that song. So I when I was in college, obviously I started smoking weed, and when I went back home to Vegas, I was hanging out with some friends. I don't remember where. I think this was even before we all started hanging out together, as a group after high school. It might have actually been right before, because I think this was right when I came back home to Vegas. And I was driving home from having a session with the boys, and I had a few blunts with me in the car, rolled, so I could, enjoy on my balcony at home and whatnot. And I just reeked of weed. So I'm driving down Eastern, and I'm going 57, not even that fast, 57 and 45.
yeah, that's at a crawl in David's car.
Yeah. And I'm just chilling. Paranoid is playing. I remember this specifically. Why are you so paranoid? And I'm almost like I'm driving like I'm past Eastern and Horizon Ridge, and
You're getting to your house. You're getting
yeah, yeah, and all of a sudden there's like bright lights right behind me, not cop lights, just bright lights like right behind me, and I'm like, what's the problem? Why are you right behind me? Like, and I slow down a little bit, and I'm like, man, you're being paranoid. Why are you so paranoid? Like, whatever. And then woo, and cop pulls me over.
Shit.
Yeah, and he was like, "You're going 57 in a 45." Blah, blah, blah. And he smelled the weed or whatever it is, and he was like, "You were you smoking?" Well, I was like, "No, I was smoking earlier." Blah, blah. He's like, "All right, well, someone needs to come pick you up because you can't drive home." I was like, "I'm literally like my home's like right there." I was like, yeah. "Oh, nice."
What the fuck was
like my
that?
house, that's Apple's thing. I think you can do a bunch of them. Yeah. You probably can do it too, since you guys are on Macs. But anyway, so yeah, that I was listening to that song when that happened, and that that really took you into your
Rap
shell.
metal starts blaring out of Chatwin's computer.
Yeah, he went back into his shell. What's going on there,
I'm
Chatwin?
gonna go huff some more salt. All right, keep going.
God.
All right. So then we get to another very controversial point in Kanye's career life, where he interrupts the ever so lovely Taylor Swift. So for the folks who don't remember or were too young, let's go ahead and take a look.
So thank you so much for giving me a chance to win a VMA award.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
All the Swifties booing.
You know, it's weird seeing Beyonce unprepared for something.
Did you see the most recent when she won for her country album? When she
No.
won the Grammy. the meme that came from that was hilarious because she was like, she obviously didn't expect to win, but she's Beyonce, so she did win, and she was just like, it's like one of the funniest. I'm like, actually, let me see if I could find it because that shit's hilarious.
There's
So,
an
yeah.
apocryphal. I'll kill time while you're finding this. There's an apocryphal story about Kanye and Beyonce went on. Oh, you already found it.
Yeah, but continue your story. I can.
Anyway, I'll make it short. Everyone on this tour was playing Connect Four, and nobody could beat Beyonce. And Kanye kept trying and kept trying. So the story goes, Beyonce, out of pity, let Kanye win, and they took a picture of it together. There is a picture of them, and it's very cute. But
Nice.
anyway.
All right, so yeah, and ironically, Taylor Swift is presenting the award.
The Grammy goes to Cowboy Carter.
She's just, it's just.
Carter.
It does look like she was in the middle of like her house, and then she woke up. She's like, "Oh, where the fuck am I?"
Yeah. So yeah, that's a very controversial moment in his career. Some would say it's what made Taylor famous.
I would say that it's one of those things that, unlike the George Bush thing, I can't find much to defend here. I wouldn't say it's a defense. The explanation that Kanye gave is that he was very drunk, which, if you look at the pictures on the red carpet, he was about 2/3 of a bottle of Hennessy down when he entered, so that probably is true. And apparently those award shows last for hours. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's no excuse.
And
That's
arguably, Beyonce had a better video.
I haven't seen either. Oh wait, Single Ladies, that is a good video. But anyway, it's one of those things that compared to some Kanye controversies now, it seems very, very
tame,
very light. And ultimately, I would say it worked out for the better for everyone. You know, in a weird way, a crashing iceberg raised all ships that day. And you know, it did raise Taylor's star a bit, and it led to probably Kanye's best album that we'll ever get. So
Exactly.
Back
Which
to you,
leads
David.
us to our next point, which is the release of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. And not to be lost, between this time, by the way, Kanye basically became a recluse, if I remember correctly, and he like
Mhm.
didn't he like go to Hawaii or fled somewhere, and he was just like living a hermit life pretty much
Well,
while he was recording My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, or
yeah,
in France.
I always heard most of the big recording happened in Hawaii, and it
Yeah.
was like a dinky little recording studio. But yeah, no, he was off the grid, and he just
I'm off the grid.
was kind of, I don't know. I bet he felt kind of bad. There was that one clip. I won't ask you to bring it up, but he went on Jay Leno, not soon after that, and Jay pulled the how'd your mom feel about what you did to Taylor Swift? Which is like, I guess if you want the headlines, that's what's going to do it. But it is a low blow, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
so, anyway, Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is fantastic. It is. I won't go long, but I think the controversy followed by critically and commercially acclaimed masterpiece classic. This sort of arc, Kanye gets addicted to it, and it has really fucked him up. The idea that you can become such a bad guy publicly through an action and then come up with music that is so good it
Redeems
essentially
you.
clears you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's been happening to diminishing returns immediately after this, and it's at the point now where I don't think, the jig is up.
Right.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said earlier, it becomes a theme in his career of just
Yeah.
becoming controversial, people taking the bits or the headlines or whatever and running with it. And it, like you said, it does work for a while, and we get some still say it's his best album of all time, probably some of his best production and best verses of all time. Chadwin, you've been pretty quiet. You got anything to say? You got anything to add, man?
I don't know. It is a good album. I don't think you could make that album today.
Why?
Because like what Eric said, the jig is up now. Also, it was a really good product for what it was. I don't know. I have a hard time I don't know. His modern day Kanye has tainted a lot of his shit now. So I'm like,
So you were
I don't
really
feel
into
like giving.
Kanye
I don't
around
want to give him the
graduation.
attention.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you were really into him around graduation. So when did he fall off for you?
Jesus.
Oh,
I
well,
don't
we
like
haven't gotten there
Jesus.
yet.
Okay. Let's keep on trudging then.
I don't know,
Let's
you
wallow in the muck some more.
you seem
Well, I mean, we're making a video. I don't know. We're making a video about how great Kanye is, in a time when Kanye is not that great.
Well, here's
So
the thing.
what are we doing here?
No, I mean we're just discussing the man, discussing his life, discussing whatever it is. We're gonna get to the not so great part. Like that part's coming. You know what I mean?
Right, but for what means to an end?
Just analyzation. Why did Eric eat lunch on stream?
I was hungry.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think
Okay,
I get what Chatwin's saying.
our audience is not going to like this.
We're
Our
not doing
audience,
it for our
two
audience.
people.
Sorry, Russell.
It's one of those. Look,
I'm not trying to be a dick either.
if we're talking about our interests, it is, we'd be lying to ourselves if Kanye isn't something that we talked about a lot.
Sure.
He is in the middle of all our Venn diagrams, I would say, or was at one point.
I would, though, say that Chatwin's right, and that I'd say that Kanye's star at the moment, even saying at the moment, feels a little like optimistic. I don't think it's ever coming back to being popular.
It does. It feels
I think
optimistic. You're right.
I think,
because I don't think he's coming back.
but to counterpoint that, Chat, I do think it's one of those things where, that's why I wanted to say out the beginning that we do not support any rhetoric that Kanye said. But
Sure.
I do think I guess it's that eternal question of separating the art from the artist, because obviously we've all admitted at this point that we enjoy his music, and no one in their right mind would say that they support what he does now, or what he's done in the past 6 years, past 5 years, past so on and so forth. But the music is, I don't know. It's not something that I never want to talk about again.
Even back in 2009, like him interrupting
but
Taylor Swift, like that was fucked up. Like he shouldn't have done. You know what I mean? Like
the thing is, there has been a huge difference in the past 5 years.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
Evolving into hate speech is kind of, I think, rightfully the last line for a lot of people. In supporting Trump was the last line, rightly, for a lot of people. And then, I think that's kind of the question that none of us can answer yet, as to like what's going to happen here. It doesn't, at the moment of March 2025, it's looking grim. It's it's a sad ending so far, but it's one of those, we may never get the right answer of where did it all go wrong.
Yeah, and I think that's the main thing we're doing here, Chad, is we're just looking at it. What went wrong? Where did it go wrong? Did it go wrong at some point? Has it always been wrong? Was it in 1980?
It has gotten wrong at some point, and it wasn't always wrong, I don't think.
Could have been the divorce of his parents that it stemmed finally. It could have been the death of his mom. It could have been I'm just saying, like, that's what we're doing. We're just looking
My parents got divorced, and I haven't said that much about a white ethno state.
Not much else controversial stuff happens until, I mean, we get a bunch of releases. We get Watch the Throne, which was his collab with Jay-Z. Great album. We got the release of Cruel Summer.
Mid.
Not that great, well received. And this was an interesting one because it was not really a Kanye album. It was a good music
with the
album.
label he tried to make with all his good music. And mid is what I say. I declare mid.
Some of the songs I are good, but yeah, mostly mid. It starts off with R. Kelly, so it's another little point of controversy there too. Then we get Yeezus. This is, I guess, where we lost Chatwin, which is funny because nowadays a lot of people really love Yeezus. It was not well received.
It's my favorite. Yeah.
It was not well received when it came out by a lot of people. I loved it when it came out. This is the one. So this was around the time I started getting into fitness. This was my 808s and Heartbreak in the gym. Like this was like I would still listen to all of Kanye's music, but like Yeezus in the gym, whew, that shit gets you going.
This was your dad's karmic payback because you would wake up whenever your dad woke up right before and start
blasting
4 in the morning workout.
But yeah, Yeezus was a is it kind of different than a lot of his other albums. It was short, 10 songs. Very
Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is very lush and sample heavy. This is all electronic and very brash. I think, Chatwin, that's kind of where it was lost for you. You just thought it sounded bad, right?
Yeah. I didn't like. I don't know. The lyrics weren't very.
The lyrics were a lot more direct and spare.
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't hit for me.
That's fair. That's the thing. If you're going to change your musical style up so often, there's going to be people who just liked one musical style, and they'll go, well, wait, go back to that one occasionally. So
it's not that I'm opposed to change, especially when artists will reinvent themselves. However, the content that he was putting out was just, I don't know, it seemed really egotistical. It was really in his own head. Yeah, I am a god and all these things. It's but this is your favorite album, so how can I I'm not gonna rip on it.
No, that's the thing. Is
my favorite album. It's not sacred.
Yeah, it's first of all, Eric didn't make the album. It's not like you're destroying something.
If this was my music, I'd be very hurt. But
and that's the other thing too. Is I think us as fans need to also realize is we defend artists or defend music or defend whatever it is so much, just because we like it, and just because I just saw this video of this Sabrina Carpenter fan. You guys know who Sabrina Carpenter is, right? The blonde young one. And she was like, Sabrina, I love you so much. I care about you so much. I know that your grandmother was just in the hospital. I don't know if her grandma died or whatever it is. But I made this pillows, like one of those like, you know, those like paint by numbers, but it's like those things that you like push down, the like little beads or whatever that you push into place. She
Yeah.
like made one of those as a pillow of a picture of her, of Sabrina and her grandmother, and was like, I care about you so much. I drove 3 hours to drive to go to your concert to try and give this to you, and I think you saw it, but I wasn't able to get it to you. Like, she went on this whole tirade about how she spent so much time doing this, whatever it is. And it's like, at the end of the day, Sabrina doesn't care about you. Like, Kanye doesn't care about us. Kanye doesn't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, people need to step, like, and so people defending stuff, when people criticize stuff so much, it's like, all you're defending is your opinion of the album. You know what I mean? And so, like, Chatwin, I would say it's not that big of it. Like, destroy it. You know what I mean? Because then Eric will come back and be like, well, I like this about it, whatever it is. Like, that's what we're doing here. We're just discussing, you know?
Yeah,
I'll cry about it on my own time.
Yeah.
That is. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I liked Life of Pablo after that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Some of the songs. Because it felt like he was like renewed a little bit.
And that's the thing, is like, he kind of has like waves that he's had through his career, where it's like, album comes out, he's in the media, whatever it is, and then he like disappears for a while. And then a new album will come out and it's different or whatever it is, and then he just disappears for a while.
That's kind of, I think, as a, you know, as someone who followed him for a long time, that, I don't know, what came off as kind of spontaneous and unscripted for the first time or two has felt less and less spontaneous and unscripted, you know?
Yeah.
Especially with, I don't know, this, hate to go back to modern day, but just this past month or so, the whole stuff about tweeting is, you know, as bad as it is, it's kind of old news, you know? It's
Well, the news cycle moves like that now. I mean, shit happens.
but also it's the same thing that he did 2 years ago, because I remember it happened right around the Super Bowl, because I joked to my parents that it would be wild that if Kanye came out during Rihanna's set at the Super Bowl. And I made the exact same joke 2 years later about Kendrick Lamar's set at the Super Bowl. So
yeah,
I don't know.
We'll get there.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. So another big change in his life, 2014, he marries Kim Kardashian. Some might say this may be where it went all wrong.
I think getting married in general was probably a bad idea for him, but I think such a high-profile celebrity as Kim Kardashian, who, you know, we joke about Kanye's ego and stuff, and yes, he does have an ego, but he's not a publicity hound. I feel like he doesn't call the paparazzi to, you know, do something where that is Kim Kardashian's style of celebrity.
Yeah.
So that is a, you know, a personality clash. And anyway,
this is where I started to have a few issues, not with Kanye himself, because I'm like, marry whoever you want to marry, but I just don't like Kim Kardashian and that whole scene and family and whatever it is. So this is where I'm like, shit started to get iffy. And you know, obviously he has other things going on. He starts getting into fashion, and he's always been talked about, you know, he wants to do more of the music, blah, blah, blah. Now he makes a deal with Adidas. The Yeezys start coming out, and he's more than just a music icon. Now he's, you know, pushing shoes. Then we get the release of The Life of Pablo. Chat, when you mentioned that you liked this one a bit, this one was good. It had a lot of interesting songs, a lot of good features, got Kendrick on there.
This one had a lot of, I feel like the rollout was done very well. As much as I just trashed what that process was like a second ago, he just had there was a lot of social media presence, not from him, about different artists coming to the studio. They had a big old like journal notebook that everybody signed, every artist that came there signed. And it felt very like, I don't know, it was like, hey, we're all celebrating Kanye's new album and Kanye at the same time. And it came out and it was good. It was like, this is another one where I'm glad it got chat back, but it was a lot of, some people are like, this is the worst thing I've ever, you know, Kanye's writing is deplorable.
Yeah. Life of Pablo. Chatwin, what did you like about Life of Pablo? Or which songs did you like on it, I guess?
I was just looking at it. I think No More Parties in LA. That something about No More Parties in LA. Just, I think it's because I despise LA so much is that I can blare that fucking song so loud,
Yeah,
and at least it's like a shield from Los Angeles for me.
fair. That's
So
fair.
I can listen to No Parties in LA and have just a little bit of a blanket, a little cover
A
to
little,
tuck me in at night.
yeah, just a little safety.
Yeah. What
Little
about
relax.
you? Also, it was weird when that album came out because it came out like sporadically and it
Yeah,
wasn't finished. It
it was
was
a
like,
weird release. Yeah,
yeah, it wasn't
this
like a wrapped in with a bow on top done.
yeah this also kind of started his trend of weird releases.
Hmm.
And this one I remember he had the listening party or listening release, whatever it is, at Madison Square Garden because I was living in New York at the time and I went.
Yeah. I liked this era of Kanye because it seemed like he was at least happy with being in a family.
Yeah,
And it was happy that he had kids. And he was like working on fashion and his shoes were doing well. It was
right.
exciting to wear Yeezys
Yeah,
because it was like, oh, these are comfortable and also look cool.
yeah, exactly. They were different.
Yes.
It was
It was
Kanye, you know what I mean? They were
it
hard
was
to get.
optimistic at least, and now everything is just so doom and gloom.
Yeah,
It's just like it's hard to just stay on board with the sinking ship.
yeah. You good,
But I
Rick?
liked that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, Rick, we were just talking about Life of Pablo and him
Right,
releasing his
right.
shoes and the release listening party at Madison Square Garden and all that.
Hmm.
How it was kind of his start of interesting album releases and not your typical album releases and all that.
This one was a success. Yeah, this
Yeah.
one brought. You got movie tickets sold out of it. So
Yeah. So yeah, that's a big one. Then he's doing his fashion. He's got a couple kids now. We kind of get into his next step, which is his conversion. And he
I'm sorry
starts.
to intervene because I know we're running low on time, but Kanye also has a pretty huge public freak out at his concert and then goes to a mental facility for a couple days, right?
Yeah, they said that it was because of exhaustion. But yeah, he
I-
did cut his tour short.
It would make sense because the past all of these things have been happening in pretty rapid succession, and I think 1 year breaks aren't enough. Anyway, go on. So yeah, had the mental break. There's a lot of silence, a lot of weird chatter. Wait, hold on. Doesn't Ye the album happen before Jesus is King?
Did it?
It does.
Oh, they didn't.
Yeah, that
put it
happened
in.
I
because it
liked
happened
Ye,
right around
too.
when Trump was elected.
Yeah. Ye was
Oh,
cool.
yeah, that's right. I did like Ye as well. Ye has a lot of good songs. That one, he was a little. That was when everyone was like, "Oh, that was when he got diagnosed as bipolar." That's right, because everyone was like, "Oh, he's bipolar," and it said on the album cover,
Mhm.
"I hate being bipolar. It's awesome."
That's the old Kanye, not the new Kanye.
Yeah,
Mhm. And this was when he and a bunch of other artists, he was making 7-song albums for he had one of just him, one with
Yeah.
Pusha T, one with Kid Cudi,
yeah.
Tiana Taylor.
I miss the old Kanye.
Who made this? How did you leave that out? Stupid Italians. And then we get him running for president in 2020 and that whole thing, and the ego starts coming back and flourishing bigger than ever. And then we released Donda and Donda 2. I don't know why they
This
put Donda 2
timeline
in
doesn't
this
even
one.
mention Donda 1.
Yeah, I
This
know.
is okay.
But yeah, so then we get those releases. Those obviously shrouded in their own controversy. Kanye coming back for each one, reactivating his Instagram or reactivating his Twitter and kind of just starting up again with the internet. And then we kind of get into the nitty gritty, shitty witty, litty titty stuff of where it all really started to go off the rails.
Big Kanye events always happen around my birthday. His big car crash happened October 1st in 2000.
Yeah.
So
You
gotta watch
you're
out, man.
inexplicably linked, so careful.
just stay at home around my
Such a
birthday.
Scorpio thing.
How dare you?
So this is when he started coming out with White Lives Matter t-shirts, and people obviously had problems with that. And then he tweeted that he was going to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people, and he started tweeting about how the Jews were running the media and running all this stuff and this, that, and the other thing. So this is kind of where it started to, get a little dicey. And
This
yeah,
is
it's
where it
like
started.
This is where
Instagram. Well, I mean,
Okay.
dicey
this
in
is
terms of
this is the dicey waters that he has not swum out of yet. I
yeah,
should say.
Yes.
yeah. Like this is the current diciness, I guess.
He has been marooned in this choppy water.
Yeah, so
And
they obviously like take away his accounts and
Decline in
decline
radio
radio
play.
play, and they start cutting business ties. And Adidas, Balenciaga ended their relationship. His own wife or ex-wife started speaking out against him. They got divorced, I think, by this point.
Yeah, they definitely were.
So he lost obviously a shit ton of deals. Adidas ended their partnership. He was going to do a deal with Gap that ended.
That would have been so good.
Yeah, a
Like
few of their stuff
Kanye and
released.
Gap. That would have been
Yeah,
sick.
a few of their like hoodies and whatever released, but that they quickly ended that shit. So yeah, it kind of just all went to shit, and I don't want to say it almost kind of proved his point, because he was like,
No, I don't think it did.
everyone,
think
you
it's
can't speak out against the Jews or your shit's gonna get.
I think
fucked up.
I think it's conflating Hitler rhetoric and stuff, and
He wasn't yet. I don't think, was he? I might.
But
be
it
wrong
doesn't.
about
I
that.
mean, I think that's why this thing is stopped at the bud, because
Yeah.
this
It
type of
just gets to
thing
that point.
blooms very fast,
Yeah.
and it's also
Cameron.
it's just like this. Yeah, unfortunately for Ye, this is Ye thinking this is exactly what he wanted to happen, but also it's one of those things that nothing wrong ever happened to him. It's not like he still got all his money, and it's one of those I don't know, man. I see what Chatwin's talking about now, because there's nothing you could say in defense of the guy.
Yeah.
I think, if anything, some of it he's doing purposefully just because he knows it's going to make people dislike him more. And like I said, with the beautiful dark twisted fantasy thing, he's still kind of hoping that the music will kind of win out for him, and it can't. It's we kind of talked about this in the group text, is that it's not, you don't want to relate to this guy. Even if he makes the most relatable song ever, it's tied to this guy, all of these headlines, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's just nothing much you can say. I mean, like you just look at all the shit that's happened, and I mean, not in his defense, but a possible reasoning for all of this is that some people have theorized he started getting heavy into using nitrous.
Yeah, we talked about this. He has an evil dentist who he decided to replace his upper front teeth with a grill. I think it's a stainless steel grill. Great if you're cooking burgers, but the thing is, it obviously hurts a shit ton because you've replaced all the caps of your teeth with metal. And he just basically, his weird celebrity dentist with a ton of tattoos became a nitrous dealer for him. And you take one look at the dentist's Instagram and you're like, that guy seems sketchy. I could see him selling. And have you guys seen that in stores or ads? Like you get like a small tank of
Galaxy gas? Yeah.
Whippets. Yeah, Galaxy gas.
But it's not. I always thought whippets were small, like these little things. These
yeah,
are
that's
like
usually. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like a
they have
paint
like
can, essentially.
yeah, it's just a huge can of nitrous, and yeah,
that makes me.
That's
like
the problem with it, is that Galaxy gas is so large you can die on it because you're just huffing it until you just have no oxygen to your brain.
Yeah,
fucked
people
up.
are doing that shit in school and doing like it's fucked up.
Yeah, you will die doing it if you do all of it.
You're just fucking up your brain cells. I don't know why you would want to.
This comes from three people who have, not to dox you guys, have used Kush extensively, and it's not like we're prudes.
Three
but,
Cushman.
Yeah, three celebrated Cushmen of the Australian Cushmanauts. But gas is messed up, man. It is like, you got to watch out. The youth scare me, guys.
Good luck finding a clip for Instagram on this one. I'm very curious.
I'll figure something.
I'll just huff more of this shit.
No, I mean, I definitely think that, there's whether you love them, you hate them, you used to love them, you hate them now, you used to hate them, you love them now. Some people are on the bandwagon
I don't
nowadays.
trust those people.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, um, it is something to be talked about, Chatwin, because whether you like it or not, he is one of the largest, most influential artists of our time, and that's just what it was. He's up there. Like it used to be the rock stars and the whatever it is. Now it's Sabrina Carpenter and what's the other redheaded girl?
Post Malone.
No, no, the Chapel Roan or whatever her name is.
Yeah,
Um,
I like her. She's kind of
yeah,
cool.
Me too.
but back in our day, it was Jay-Z and Kanye and Neo and Chris Brown and what you know what I
Akon.
mean? Like Akon, yeah.
I
So
heard
as much
Akon
as
in the store the
as
other
much
day.
as
I
we
thought
get
it'd
to
be
talk about
fascinating.
Akon, we got to talk about Kanye. Like he's iconic, like and
Chad, when
obviously
he's iconic.
he's
God
iconic.
damn it.
So I mean, yeah, it's just something that we have to address, and we did all like him at one point, and some of us still enjoy his music, even though we don't enjoy the things he says or the things he does, and you can only hope for the best for him. Hope that he gets the help that he clearly needs, whether that be like medical help or just good people around him, good friends around him, good family around him, whatever it is.
Less evil dentists, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
You don't need that many in your squad.
yeah, definitely.
I agree
Yeah,
with you.
I
he
hope for the
finds
best
help.
for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will he ever be redeemed? Probably not. I don't know. Can you come back from this stuff? Maybe. I mean, people have come back from worse. Is there worse? Probably. I mean, I would say that doing things is worse than just spewing
Did you
bullshit
guys know
on
that
Twitter.
Christopher Walken covered up a murder?
Yeah. Yeah. See, there's like actors and shit are like.
That's the weird thing, though. That's the wrinkle, is that shit happened in the 70s, and even, Christopher Walken must have walked into the police office with blood on his hands, because otherwise he would have been scot-free back then. But that's it. With the internet now, it sticks around a lot longer.
Yeah, it's
So,
always recorded. You have Italians making timelines and forgetting stuff, but most of it's there. And
it's going to be interesting to see where we're at in the world of Kanye in 20 years. And
I'd like to see this video at the end of this year.
That's true.
That'd be
I hope
interesting.
it ends in a brighter place than where it seems like it's going to now.
Agreed.
I'd also like to mention that he has technically released an album this year. So
your bingo card.
I'm one half of the way towards the bingo card. Yeah.
For our listeners, we do have a bingo card going throughout the year. Bets on see if we can clear out an entire row of bingo. We have about 4 or 5 spots. One of David's coveted spots is 2 Kanye albums coming out this year. One technically is out. So, David,
And I won't take I'm sure he's going to update the version or whatever because he
released you could cheat. I was going to say that should count.
No, he's releasing Bully V1, so I won't count V2 as a second album. No, he's got to come out with another one for it to count, like another.
You're a more honorable man than I.
But yeah, so we'll see what's happening in the next year of Kanye, in the next few years of Kanye. It'll be interesting for sure. I mean, one thing you can never say about the man is it hasn't been interesting. It's been an interesting ride.
It's been a real horror show, I'll tell you.
Yeah, recently for sure.
No, it's I'm Chatwin and I's anxiety when you announced the subject was palpable, but I'm glad we talked about the Ye-lephant in the room, because you're right. It's up there in our interests, and it has been for a while, and I think it needed to be at least addressed and where we stood on it. And I think it's better to do it now in the middle of just an awful a rash of awful things he has done. So we can't excuse his actions during the good times, during the lean times.
Yeah, in a few months when he comes out with another My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and the world is in love with him again.
Yeah,
well,
we were talking about him when he was the most hateful man on earth, and I will say, if you're listening, Ye, go fuck yourself. Jewish people are cool. Don't call yourself Hitler. So,
agreed.
You hear that, Ye? Eric said, "Go fuck yourself."
Everything is Everything is an ABD Productions podcast. Executive produced and hosted by David Abdu, Chatwin Cray, and Eric Helling. Video and audio captured by Riverside.fm. If you have any inquiries, please reach out to us via everythingiseverything69@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.